I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world?
Imagine a world where everything seems perfect on the surface. The glitter of the stage, the spotlight of the camera, and the smiles that are always ready to be presented to the public. But behind it all, there is a tightly closed curtain, hiding stories that have never been told. Now, the curtain is starting to be lifted, and the public is stunned. Something big is happening. Today, the Korean entertainment world was rocked by a sudden but shocking news. An internal document belonging to the giant agency HYBE, which is said to contain sensitive information related to Kim Taehyung aka VBTS, was allegedly leaked to the public. This news spread like wildfire in the middle of a dry forest, triggering a wave of commotion among fans, netizens, and international media. This leak did not come from a random source. Based on initial findings, the document contains management strategies concerning Taehyung, including secret agendas, internal communications between HYBE executives, and speculation about the direction of the idol's career after his military service. Most shockingly, there are indications of internal tensions within the management that have been kept tightly closed from the public. What exactly is in this document? How could such confidential information get out of hand? And more importantly, what does it mean for Taehyung and HYBE? A few snippets of the documents that have been released to the public show that HYBE is considering a different approach to rebranding Taehyung as a global soloist after his military service. It includes a cross-continental marketing strategy, collaborations with top international artists, and a highly exclusive promotional agenda. However, there are also concerns about his personal image being too free compared to his peers, something that some of the agency's top brass are said to be not entirely on board with. The leak raises big questions. Was this simply a data security glitch? Or were there parties on the inside who intentionally leaked the information for a specific purpose? Some speculate that this could be part of an internal power struggle, with a big name like Taehyung becoming a pawn in a much larger conflict. The public reaction? It's mixed. ARMY, as BTS's fans are known, are divided between concern and anger. Social media is flooded with hashtags like Protect Taehyung, HYBE Caught, and Justice for V. Many are urging HYBE to provide an official clarification, while others are calling for a boycott of the agency's affiliated products until there is an adequate explanation. Meanwhile, HYBE itself has yet to issue an official statement, choosing to remain silent amidst the ever-heating public opinion. Silence that makes speculation run wild and tensions rise. In the entertainment world that is so structured and planned, a leak like this is more than just an incident. It could be a turning point, not only for the career of an individual like Taehyung, but also for the credibility and image of an agency as big as HYBE. So, is this the beginning of a major change in the K-pop industry? Will the star continue to shine brightly amidst the storm that has hit? Or will this storm be the path to greater artistic freedom for Taehyung? One thing is for sure. The curtain has opened, and all eyes are now on the real stage, behind the scenes, where a drama that is more real than just acting is taking place. And like the plot of an intriguing drama, each chapter of the story seems to bring a new twist. The leak of HYBE's internal documents is more than just news. It's an explosion that has shaken the foundations of trust between the agency, the artist, and the public. In the leaked documents, though not entirely confirmed, there are some parts that are truly concerning. One of them is the section that mentions the term restructuring of public image, which in the context of Taehyung is interpreted as an attempt to stifle his strong, artistic, and slightly eccentric personality. To many fans, this sounds like an attempt to silence the artist's voice and authenticity for the sake of the market. Reorganizing communication styles, limiting interactions not controlled by the agency, and strict filtering of personal social media content. That's one line of the document. It's a sentence that's outrageous. Taehyung isn't just an idol. He's an artist who has shown his unique color, even when standing alone in a demanding world. Furthermore, the leak also reveals Taehyung's aggressive plans for solo expansion into the American and European markets, including raising promotional funds from international sponsors. However, in a surprising footnote, It was stated that some internal parties doubted the long-term commercial value of Taehyung's personal brand if it was not aligned with the Direction Corporation. What does all this mean? In more direct language, there seems to be friction between Taehyung the artist and Taehyung the product. And now, this conflict has come to the surface. Observers of the K-pop industry have also begun to speak out. A number of analysts say that this kind of leak could indicate the existence of different factions within HYBE management. Those who want to maintain full control over artists, and those who see the future as lying in the freedom of individual expression. On the other hand, the public is wondering, did Taehyung himself know about this document before it was leaked? And if so, is he under pressure that has not been seen before? His last post on social media, a black and white photo with an ambiguous caption, suddenly became the subject of analysis. Was that an implied message? This crisis has not only shaken HYBE, but also exposed the fragile boundaries between artist privacy and public demands. So far, the K-pop industry has been known for its discipline, strict regulations, and almost sterile branding. However, as fans have matured and the public has become more vocal, such strategies are now starting to be questioned. And in this vortex, Taehyung, an artist who always speaks through tone and color, is caught between powerful forces that want to mold him into their mold. What will happen next? Will HYBE speak up? Will there be clarification or even legal action against the leaker? Will this document trigger major changes within the agency? And most importantly, what will Taehyung do next? Fans, the media, and the entire industry are now holding their breath, waiting for the next chapter in this unfinished story. One thing is for sure, this is not just a leak. This is a crucial moment, a crossroads that will determine where the K-pop industry and the freedom of its artists will go. And Taehyung, whether he realizes it or not, is now standing at the forefront of that change. However, in this wave of uncertainty, the public is seeing another side of Taehyung that is rarely highlighted. His calm in the midst of the storm. Despite being bombarded by rumors and wild analysis from various parties, until now there has been no direct response from him. No clarification, no denial, only silence that makes all eyes are increasingly focused on him. Many fans believe that behind his silence, Taehyung is considering his next big move, not just to maintain his name, but to fight for his autonomy as a true artist. Meanwhile, pressure on HYBE continues to increase. Reports from several sources say that the agency is now on high alert, with emergency meetings being held behind closed doors. The legal team is said to have begun tracing the origin of the leak, while the PR division is preparing an official statement that will determine the direction of the narrative going forward. But the public is not just waiting for clarification. They want transparency. Because more than just reputation management, this concerns an artist's rights to create, without being constrained by a system that is too mechanical. In the darkness that still shrouds the truth, one thing is starting to become clear. The Korean entertainment world can no longer rely on the old structure that prioritizes absolute control. This document leak could be the first sign of a paradigm shift, from an industry that regulates artists as property, to a stage where creativity and personal voice are valued. And perhaps, without planning it, Taehyung has now become a symbol of that change. A heavy role, but also a historic one.
I wanna be the greatest. Everybody on the fake shit. I look around and feel like everybody is the fakest. I make this every day and I'm impatient, hoping one day I blow up from the basement. Statement, the top is so vacant. I don't hear shit that I think is amazing. Waiting for my day when I'm playing sold out shows for 1,000 faces. Hey, give me that crown, get in my way and to be put down. It ain't your place.